o'clock tonight. You can stream it live on the city's Facebook page. A Hephzibah family is mourning the loss of their 20-year-old daughter who was shot last week. Her ex-boyfriend charged with murder. News Channel 6's Chloe Salsameda speaks to the victim's friend who was on the phone with her when she was shot.
Last week, 20-year-old Brentley Kitchens was killed inside this home here in Hephzibah. But minutes before her death, she FaceTimed her best friend who saw the shooting unfold. That friend says she'll never forget what she saw and heard. When Shelby Freeman picked up her phone last Wednesday, she had no idea it would be the last time she would talk to her best friend, Brentley Kitchens. While the two were on FaceTime, Kitchens heard a knock on her door. Investigators say her ex-boyfriend, 20-year-old Jaden Ross, arrived and shot Kitchens in the head.
There was a lot of yelling, and then I just heard, "Jaden, you just pulled a gun on me." And he was like, "You have a knife pulled on me," and she was like, "You're in my house, I'm asking you to leave." And then it was just bam, 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 and then she hit the ground, and then the call ended.
A GoFundMe has been set up to help Kitchens' family pay for funeral expenses. We have that information on our website at WJBF.com. In Hephzibah, Chloe Salsameda, WJBF, News Channel 6.
The Richmond County Sheriff's Office.
He can fix it.
A few months into the coronavirus pandemic, a post-COVID condition was discovered in children. News Channel 6's Mary Calkin spoke with a pediatric infectious disease doctor about the disease and what parents should keep an eye out for.
MIS-C, or multi-system inflammation syndrome in children, typically shows up about 2 to 6 weeks after COVID. Kids will experience a prolonged fever and swelling of different organs. Dr. Jim Wild says MIS-C is often mistaken for Kawasaki disease.
Initially, it looked like they had a rash of Kawasaki disease, which is another childhood disease that we see relatively frequently. It looked very much like Kawasaki's, but it was not. And that's when they realized there was a new entity here that was mimicking Kawasaki's disease.
However, Kawasaki is not COVID-related and strikes kids at a much younger age, while MIS-C affects children in the 5 to 15-year-old age range who have tested positive for COVID. MIS-C causes inflammation in organs such as the heart, lungs, eyes, skin, and brain.
This is a really, really sick child that you're looking at. In fact, the CDC definition requires that the child is sick enough to be admitted to the hospital before you can even make the diagnosis. Kids who just have a fever and a runny nose and cough and are not that sick would not meet the case definition for MIS-C.
The World Health Organization says to meet the criteria, a child must have 3 or more days of high fever and symptoms like altered state of mind, shock, kidney problems, or skin rash.
One of the critical criteria is you have to have at least some evidence that you've had a COVID infection in the last 2 to 4 weeks. If there's no evidence for a COVID infection in the last 2 to 4 weeks, we're not even looking in the direction of MIS-C.
Dr. Wild says MIS-C is rare and most kids typically make a full recovery after being treated.
MIS-C, first of all, is relatively rare. COVID itself is not usually real severe in children. The number of children that get MIS-C after a COVID infection is really small. And the number of children who have MIS-C and have a bad outcome is extremely small. So this is not a major alarm for parents.
In Augusta, Mary Calkins, WJBF News Channel 6.
Working from the comfort of your